My friends, I am back from my trips around the world. I do apologize for the lack of coverage. Just to be brief as well, because I know a lot of people do not care. I shall have footage of my exploits soon, where for some reason I also took on the Houston Texans mascot. Why wouldn't I do that? I can't even talk, so I'm jet lagged. But look, it is Bad Blood. It's hidden in my phone. Let's predict the darn thing. So we're going to start off with Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio in the shark cage for the Women's Championship on Raw, which is always such a fantastic gimmick. It makes no sense. Why would anybody do this? Why would you trap somebody in a shark cage? Because logic would dictate if you don't want somebody at ringside, just ban them. You can put them in jail. Dominic knows all about that. But instead, in wrestling, we put them in. Why is it still called a shark cage? I understand why. You can't just call it a cage. We've never put a shark in there, but that's what we do. And of course, the idea is he's going to have to watch Liv Morgan, his brand new girlfriend, get absolutely whipped as Rhea totally destroys her. Now, here's my thing, especially when we tie it into what happened on Raw. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley have been running wild for a good few weeks, but slowly but surely, the brand new Judgment Day have kind of got the upper hand on them because they have the numbers game. When you actually look at who gets laying every single time, it is Damian Priest, whereas Rhea Ripley mostly has been on the up and up. She has been beaten down a couple of times, but even then, Damian Priest has kind of tried to protect her. And I think it actually ties into these two matches, which I will push together, number 1 and 2, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. I think Rhea Ripley is going to lose, and I think Damian Priest is going to win. Now, if Finn Balor was able to pull a fast one, I would be super duper happy because I think Finn Balor is still an underutilized talent, and I think he's really good in this heel role ever since we kind of allowed him to shake things up. I guess this feels like the most Prince Devitt version of Finn Balor. I guess we can call him Finn Balor. Maybe the NXT one when he booted Adam Cole in the head, or whoever he booted in the head. I can't even remember now. It was so long ago. But I don't think you can have both Judgment Day guys win, and you definitely can't have both the good guys win, because I think this feud needs to continue. Just go and listen to the reaction it gets on Raw. People are so excited, and they love them, and the Terror Twins. We don't want to get rid of them too early, right? Because once more, I think over the house shows at the weekend as I am recording this, they were taking on Karrion Kross and Scarlett too. That's something you can do. I'm sure there's other duos I'm not thinking of right now. But I think Liv Morgan needs to hold on to that title. I don't think Rhea Ripley needs to win it back at the moment. She probably should before the end of 2024. But I think allowing Liv to hold on a little, again, for more, especially after Dominic would get out of that stupid cage and help her. That always happens. It's Wrestling 101. It just allows them to double down on their a-hole act, which they are very good at. They're two spectacular heels. So once again, we can push that as far as possible. But also Rhea Ripley just being involved in the chase for the championship a little bit longer before we do get into other feuds. It just means we can stretch this one out, which WWE does like to do. And, you know, it's working, right? Sometimes you have to pull the trigger when there's no need to pull the trigger. It'll benefit Liv. It'll benefit Dom. It'll benefit Rhea. And I suppose you could win at Survivor Series in another sort of... You probably at Survivor Series... you can't do a cage match because I just think it's too similar to a War Games match. But I would like some match soon where it's just Liv versus Rhea. Dominic cannot get anywhere near there. I mean, you could do some shenanigans, but whatever. And Rhea kind of dominantly gets the win. And that's no disrespect for Liv Morgan. That's the character, right? People get so mad about this. Rhea is the good guy badass. You don't have to like it, but that's where we put her, and I think it totally rules. Whereas Liv Morgan, while she acts a big game, is actually scared and she wants to run away and probably play Nintendo. So maybe Survivor Series, maybe at the Royal Rumble. And then whoever wins the Royal Rumble can pick Rhea Ripley, and we can do that. I would certainly like Bianca Belair to be the next choice, but I think we should do the Jade feud too, so we'll probably shelve that for a little bit as well. Who could come after Liv Morgan for Rhea Ripley? I don't really know, but there will be someone. The women's division right now is getting better and better. And yes, as much as repeating myself here, Finn Balor winning would be awesome. You need Damian Priest to continue on his momentum. He is absolutely one of the big hitters of 2024, had a World Championship run, and he did lose that belt at SummerSlam because of Finn Balor. I don't think you need to do another match. I think you can get it done here. I suppose you could have both Judgment Day guys win if you're going to do a stipulation match. And maybe you could even tie it into some kind of crazy intergender cage match at Survivor Series. I think it's a little bit too much. I don't think you need to do that. So Damian Priest wins, Liv Morgan wins, and then Damian Priest can go on to something else as well. Although, again, what that would be, I really don't know. Maybe something with the Intercontinental title. Maybe we switch the brands around a little bit. But I think there'll be really good matches. I think the fans will be super duper into them. Really good to sort of sporadically place them around the card because, again, apart from sort of obviously the obvious one, you could even argue the Bloodline stuff, this has been going on a long time. You can trace it back 2-3 years, and it's one of the reasons I love it. But I'm going for Liv, and I'm going for Damian Priest. And we'll move on to Nia Jax versus Bayley as well. I like Bayley a lot. In fact, I think she's awesome. I think she's completely underutilized and underrated in many ways, which apparently drives people nuts. There was a meme going around the other day comparing Bayley to Goldberg. I almost got my table and ripped it off the floor. Just can't do that because it's not attached to the floor to begin with. No way, man. Bayley, out of everybody on the damn roster, I would say, has probably lost more than she had won. This is what happened to Sami Zayn. As soon as Sami Zayn started winning in 2023, 2024, people forgot what happened to him in 2017, 18, 19. I had a counter on ups and downs. Make sure you check out What Culture Wrestling as well. Subscribe to me, subscribe to them, and interact with the video, and put the notifications on, especially for the mobile app. That's how we get views. That's one of the reasons I'm struggling right now. I don't want to talk about it. But we had a damn counter that where we just sort of followed the stock or whatever it was of Sami Zayn. It was always low because he never got wins. So now he's getting his due. I'm going to respect that. And it's the same for Bayley, especially because I don't think she's going to get the win here. I suppose you could once again get the Tiffany Stratton stuff going now, and you could feud Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton before one of them I think is going to go to Netflix, probably to Raw for Netflix, probably Tiffany Stratton. And I guess Nia Jax doesn't have to hold that title for a long time. I just don't think Bayley's going to do it. But I do think I want to do something like I'm writing the show. We have to do something with Bayley coming out the other end of this, okay? We just do. Whether that's a proper feud with Naomi, very good match on SmackDown last week. I enjoyed it. Do we turn Naomi heel? I don't think you can turn Bayley back heel because it's too soon. That's what I'm talking about. We have this still quite newly fashioned babyface Bayley, and we're not doing enough. And maybe Naomi comes out here and she costs Bayley. I know it's a story that WWE relies on a lot, but I think it then protects Bayley. She probably needs it. Nia Jax is not going to care. Tiffany Stratton is going to be out there anyway for obvious reasons. So it would make sense why Naomi would try. Naomi screws up, and then you can do that. And then whatever we're going to do with Nia and Tiffany, I wouldn't have Tiffany Stratton cash in. Although she's moving to Raw, she could cash in on somebody else. I just wouldn't do it this year. And in fact, I'd try and, I know we're doing a lot on SmackDown, but I would try and accentuate that briefcase even more, just because, of course, with the men's one, it's gone away for another year, which I was a big fan of. We've done other videos. I'm not going to talk about it, but this one feels kind of cut dry to me. Absolutely see involvement from Naomi. Absolutely see involvement from Tiffany Stratton. Probably tease some briefcase cash-ins, always do it. Again, then go quiet once you know when you're going to pull the trigger. Just make people forget. It's nice and simple brain stuff. But yes, I think Nia Jax probably has to hold on to it here. You don't want her losing it in her first proper feud. And I think the fact that she has a belt and Tiffany has the briefcase is a nice dynamic. So go for Nia Jax, who is also having a great year in 2024. Got into a stupid argument with someone on social media about this today. You do not have to be a 5-star banger classic wrestler to be having a flagship year. With Nia Jax, I know she's like, was that Ron Seal, wood stain, whatever. I know exactly what I'm going to get on the tin, and she delivers it in spades. I think it's the best work of her career, and I'm a super duper big fan. Now, it is a WWE PLE pay-per-view in 2024, so we only have 2 matches left, and actually there's a conversation point here, what should main event? And that's why I'm going to talk about Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline. Of course you can main event with this. It's the 2 biggest stars in the company, but I think CM Punk and Drew McIntyre have earned it, as ridiculous as that sounds. Now, Cody and Roman versus the Bloodline is a very interesting match because you'd have to assume it's going to set up War Games, which is going to go down in November for Survivor Series. I think The Rock is going to be back very, very soon, given that we are close to the Netflix stuff. Probably the first Raw on Netflix in early January. Could that tie in here? Jacob Fatu is on one side. Can he lose? I mean, probably not. The Tongans are probably going to be out there. Randy Orton is probably going to get involved. Maybe a Kevin Owens. I'm convinced, by the way, this is not a Kevin Owens heel turn that we are teasing. This is the Randy Orton heel turn. I will do a video on this, so I will hold it there. But can Cody Rhodes take a pin? Can Roman Reigns take a pin? It's very, very interesting. Do we do the whole thing when Roman Reigns goes for a spear? This is probably what I would do, given that I think Roman and Jacob will eventually spin off. But then you can have Jacob pin Roman. This is why it's a great match. I can kind of see, not necessarily what I want, but what I can see in my wrestling nerd eye, is that you do the whole Roman goes for a spear. Somebody moves out the way. He takes out Cody Rhodes instead. There's Jacob for 2. He wrecks Roman Reigns, gets rid of him. Super kick, probably allows Solo to go spike. So we've really destroyed Cody. And I don't think Solo Sikoa can pin him. I think it has to be Jacob Fatu, but that's going to be interesting. Maybe that caused dissension in the Bloodline as well. But if the Bloodline pin Cody, you may be able to get to a hole where Cody is going to be on Roman's team for Survivor Series because he wants to get back at these guys, but also now hates Roman because he can't trust them anymore. Although he couldn't trust him anyway. It's the only problem I have with the program, which I think has been excellent. I want to make that. But Cody is all like to Randy and Kevin, oh, I can trust Roman Reigns. He's always been a man of his word. No, he isn't. The amount of times he said, the Bloodline will not come out here, my friend. And they were always there. They always came out and whooped his ass to the point he had backup in Kevin Owens and Randy Orton and often Sami Zayn as well. But I think you could probably do that again. Then you're doing the whole coexisting, which WWE loves. I just think Jacob Fatu needs to get the pin. I think that'd be huge for him. That rhymes, so it must be true. Don't know why I tapped the table. I shouldn't have done that. I apologize. But I think Roman versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania could be good. Again, Jacob Fatu does feel like a special deal, and Roman Reigns obviously sort of mega up there. Whoop-de-doo-dah. I'm going to go with it. I think that Cody Rhodes takes the pin from Jacob Fatu, but he's going to take at least 5 to 6 finishes first, including one of which maybe, no, you can't do 2 because you need to plant seeds. One of which will be a spear by Roman Reigns. We'll do that, which is exactly what he did to The Rock as well, by the way. And then we can start tying that in and having some fun with it as well. But I don't think Cody and Roman can win. I think that's boring. Unless we're going to do a Cody and Roman match soon, which we shouldn't do because the only pay-per-views we have left are Survivor Series, no, Saudi Arabia, no. And I think that's it. I don't think there's another one. Hold it off the Royal Rumble, for goodness sake. Put it on a proper pay-per-view. You know what you're talking about. Don't upset me in my kitchen. But I would have them lose. And therefore, let's throw it out into the ether because I think it's more fun. I think the Bloodline have to win. And let's start building to Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns. But yeah, that's why Solo Sikoa can't pick Cody Rhodes. We've seen that twice. We don't need to see it a third time, especially because Cody won both of them, often without outside interference. So you can even make an argument that Solo Sikoa sucks, which he doesn't, by the way. He's a very nuanced and layered character, and nobody talks about it. And no, I'm not joking. Which means our main event is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell. Excited about this for 2 reasons. One, they promised to murder each other in every single promo they have done. We have destroyed the crime counter on ups and downs. But 2, they have done the wonderful work, as is everybody at WWE. I'm sure this is the plan, which is why we've called it Bad Blood, of bringing back the majesticness and the importance and the scariness of Hell in a Cell. You go back to 1997 when we first did this between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. People were like, oh man, the Hell in a Cell's terrifying. And then by 2000, I think it was, we had the big boss man being hanged by The Undertaker, a law out the window, right? And there's still good stuff in there, like obviously Mankind versus The Undertaker, going to be remembered forever. Kind of dumb that we lowered the Hell in a Cell in the next match, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kane, but we did what we did. The WrestleMania stuff with Triple H and Shawn Michaels with The Undertaker 2 in the Hell in a Cell was awesome. There'll be other ones as well that I'm not thinking of, but there's a lot of duds. Of course, 2019, Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt standing out a mile, which is one of the reasons we have to reset it and just stop doing Hell in a Cell pay-per-views. Don't do a Hell in a Cell and then figure out a feud around it. Have something like this, which has been going on for a year. They hate each other. WWE within the story has no choice but to enclose them in this thing. There's going to be blood, which is big for WWE. It's going to be violent. It's going to be brutal. The internet then likes to go, well, there's not going to be as brutal as AEW. I don't care, man. I love what AEW did, and I love what WWE here did as well. I assume so. Not everyone gets it right. It may be a swing and a miss, but I'd be surprised. And I suppose Punk has to win. I mean, I'm a big fan of both. I know I'm watching it from a geek point of view, but I mean, CM Punk is the babyface here. Drew McIntyre is the heel. I think I've said this a lot, so you'll have to forgive me. Just make sure we have plans for Drew McIntyre. Losing and winning in wrestling does not matter as long as somebody has looked at you and gone, you're an important player, which Drew McIntyre is, and here's what we got for you now, blah, blah, blah. That's why I annoyed Stone Cold Steve Austin before he walked out back in 2002, is that, I mean, he probably should have offered up more creative suggestions as well, that's a fair point, but he was being given crappy stories and he didn't like it. I think he cared about winning and losing. He just wanted to be involved in things that meant something, which is why this is so good. CM Punk can probably go on to face Gunther and do whatever he want to do. Seth Rollins is back, so you can start putting that back on the table. There's got to be something for Drew. And Drew's been through a lot of people, so maybe he has to go to SmackDown. Maybe he has to have a fight with Cody. I don't know. Like, everyone just loses matches, then turns up and challenges the world champion. That's what I just want, something big for Drew. Then it doesn't matter he loses here, because again, you want to give the fans what they want, and the fans want CM Punk. But bravo to both of them. Like I say, I'm a huge fan of both from an in-ring perspective. I think they're excellent. Their promo work on Raw was, I mean, they genuinely came across like they wanted to kill each other, which I suppose is a good thing. Going to be lots of blood. And the Sami Zayn Gunther match, even though there was long rumors otherwise, shall be on Raw next week, which probably means Sami Zayn's not going to win. I don't think we're going to do 2 big title changes in, the space of 2 weeks with Jey Uso as well. Some people have said that as well. Why isn't Jey Uso on the show? He just had his moment, man. We can milk it. And I would always be a fan of probably going up to 7 for these things, but at the same time, we get done in 3 hours and we can make these things feel bigger and bigger and more and more. And it's not like it's not working. Business is booming in WWE. So there's a couple of thumbs up from me. So yes, Liv Morgan, Damian Priest, CM Punk, Nia Jax, and the Bloodline. That's what I'm going with. Doesn't matter what I think though. That's what you think. Drop me a comment down there. Let me know every single thing you think. Let me know twists. Let me know turns. In that tag match, who was going to pin who? How's that going to lead to Survivor Series? I need all of that. And then when you are done, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and bam, click that video on the screen where I am talking about Jey Uso's awesome, I should say, Intercontinental title win, because it's more than just him winning it. Sums up how great WWE is right now. You can also go to GorillaMind.com, use code Simon to get 10% off, or there is 30% off on some pre-workout flavors. You will see it on the front page. Please do use that code Simon again to get more money off, and I get a little bit back too, which always helps the channel. Otherwise, it's patreon.com for Simon316. If you want to use a GoGo Fitness and train at home with Anthony at GoGo, use code Simon20. Simon J. Miller at TikTok. No, is that right? Yes, that's correct. Simon Miller 316 on all social media, and it's Simon Miller if you would like a cameo, and it is also Pro Wrestling Tees and my name. You can buy all my dumb shirts. Otherwise, have a great week, my friends. Enjoy that pay-per-view, that PLE, because they come around a lot. So I guess actually you could not enjoy it, and that'll be fine too, because there'll be another one like tomorrow. Goodbye.